we covered the existing magical ranged DPS, so we'd like to show off Pictomancer.
はい、お願いします。Yes, please. まず特徴からです。
Okay, so some characteristics of the Pictomancer.
Prepares by painting a variety of motifs, then renders them to life to produce an assortment of effects. Renders multiple motifs to execute high-powered attacks. It is a buffer.
And of course, the Pictomancer is
Wow.
also capable of granting buffs.
So it
to
is
the
a
party
buffer.
and themselves. So Pictomancers that may not have a very high damage output might be like Yoshida, who can't draw very well.
Damn, she threw Yoshida under the bus.
Okay, so I think, yeah, words might not be able to describe what the Pictomancer can do. So let's look at it in game.
大丈夫そうか。はい、大丈夫です。あなたが急にね、キーをガチャガチャガチャって叩き始めるとね、何かあったらちょっとビビる。
Just double checking if Foxclaw didn't write any notes again.
Twitch stream chat. The Twitch chat is a different breed of chat. I can definitely say that much for certain. Okay. Pretty simple. And we got some charges too.
Of course, in the left hand is the paint palette, and depending on the weapon or the brush set,
It's going to be interesting how I'm going to set up my gauges on my HUD when it comes to these two jobs. Because their gauge is very elaborate, I will have to say.
And you have three canvases in your job HUD. From the left, that's where your creature motif goes. Second, or the middle one, will be the weapon, and then the landscape will be to the far right.
Landscape will be to the far right. I'm confused. I'm sorry. What? What does that even mean?
Let's actually try.
How are we feeling about Picto, guys?
But when you're outside of
because
combat,
at first
there is no
I was a bit iffy on the job. I honestly was not all too excited for it. But it's like, after seeing the hammer, I thought it looked a little bit more fun. It definitely surprised me. I can say that much for certain.
So you see in the hotbar, Control 8, Control 9, and Control 0 has pom-pom, weapon, and landscape, respectively. So pom-pom does the creature, the hammer, of course, creates the weapon, and then landscape as well, landscape. Okay, so we're going to start to
It's definitely going to be interesting to figure out exactly how this job works.
Of course, we're not engaged in combat right now, so you didn't see cast time, and it was instant. But as you can see on the far left, we see the creature motif.
Oh, so you're probably going to need to set up.
So of course, right now we're outside of combat, so it's instant.
Okay,
even if you're
so you
around,
can actually
you
set things up
create your motifs.
to prepare and create your motifs.
So as a first step, let's remember that there are these three different motifs.
先にお伝えしやすい絵とは切り離された魔法の説明をしたいと思います。
I'm fairly certain that there's going to be a mid-max setup for the very start of the fight.
Motifs come into play. Let us explain the different magic. Let's see, ether hue elements of the Pictomancer in combat.
魔法には置き換えが行われていて、コンボのような概念があります。
So with the ether hue, the icon will be automatically replaced with the next step in the combo route. So it's kind of like a skill rotation combo.
キャストします。置き換わって変わります。
You see that it's been automatically replaced.
この同系統のラインの3つの魔法、まあ色に関わる
Cast is pretty
魔法を
fast.
まあ光に近いかな。色を使っていくと、ここに1個ゲージが増えたように、白いインクが使えるようになりました。
So we got 1 dot and 25 of the
so
paint
with the ether
gauge.
hue combo, once it's related to colors basically, or maybe like light might be a close concept too. But as you can see in that palette gauge, you can now see that you have white color available.
Hey sis, are you still there?
So you can utilize that one of the charges on that palette gauge to execute an instant sort of action spell.
もう一回ありますね。はい。これが弱めの詠唱が早い魔法ですね。
So this is a less powerful but relatively quick to cast magic spell.
Okay.
So in addition to the palette gauge, you see like a rainbow kind of gauge also. And by consuming some charge, 50 charge off of that rainbow gauge, you can activate subtractive palette, which basically kind of flips over the palette, kind of changes the element of your ether hue.
I think I figured out exactly how I'm going to set this gauge.
さらに強力な
Interesting. You expanded on it.
みたいな。さっきのホワイトホーリーでしたよね。
So of course, earlier we utilized the white color to cast Holy in white with the subtractive palette, and you change the elements of the ether hue. Your different sort of ether hue spells will expand. Of course, cast times will become a little bit longer, but they are going to be a bit more powerful. So you saw like Thunder in magenta, or like Comet in black, and things like that.
This is definitely different from what I thought the job was going to work.
And then before we jump into the
What kind of dash was that? Was that a dancer dash?
So there is an action that will allow for you to move quickly towards the direction you're facing.
That is a dancer dash, dude. Holy shit.
だけちょっと足が速くなる効果がくっつきます。
And then you see an enhancement. For a short period of time, your movement speed will increase. So you can travel a pretty good distance with this action. So be careful when you get to the edge so that you don't fall off of the platform.
では
It was like Iceman except on paint. I'm so done with you right now.
And then on the top row of the hotbar, those are some of your AoE attacks. So we're going to skip detailed explanation on that. So we're going to go into the motif and pictomancy. So with these actions, because it looks like it's side by side, it might make you think that, well, it's something that you utilize with the 3 in a row.
この3つの絵はそれぞれ独立したカテゴリーの絵なので、
It's the fact that we got a dancer dash, but we don't have any chargers on it.
That said, although they are next to each other, they are individual like motifs.
I don't know how to feel about that.
So they're not necessarily connected to each other.
コメントでお前は何を言っているんだ。
はい。The Japanese literally sounds like imagine a pom-pom, but the English, I believe, is living muse.
Living muse. Okay.
So we're going to render this as an attack.
文字通りポンポンが虫に取られて上から落ちていくんですね。
We see a whole bunch of Moogle pom-poms, probably torn off.
Oh, and then the pom-poms goes up above. So once all 3 are assigned, I guess you would then.
The white square.
Hey yo!
Because we have rendered the motif into an attack, canvas is now blank.
This part just got filled.
まあ白紙に戻ったので、次にまた生物の絵を描くんですけど、
So I guess now
さっき
you're able to
ポンポン
put
の絵を
that on
描
the
いたので、
canvas
次は
is
羽
how that
の
works.
絵が描けるよう
You
にな
can
ります。
actually fill up the canvas for something extra.
So canvas is blank, but you can still continue to draw a creature motif. This time it will be the wing motif will become available.
描きますね。
So we shall create the motif.
はい。で、キャンパスに
So
描かれます。
now that we're in
As you
battle,
can see,
it
is now
became
on
slower
canvas.
in terms of actually drawing it on the
で、
canvas.
これによって
So these are wings, and so we're going to render the wing.
はい。これで、ポンポンと羽を描いたので、これによって呼びましたか？
So with the palm and the wings, you see a little
That
bit of
actually
the
makes a-
ring.
That makes sense, Walt. Actually, yes.
モーグリを
That's how we
交換
end up
するってい
summoning
うアクシ
freaking
ョン
Moog.
が
That's how we end up summoning the Moogle. Okay.
で、爪を具現化します。
And then we're going to render this claw as an attack.
で、さらに今度は牙が描けるようになったので、牙の絵を描きます。
So now, a second
Exodia!
claw will become available.
Obliterate!
Depict that as our motif.
そしてさらに牙を具現化します。
Y'all
Render it as
stupid.
an attack.
これによって全ての要素が揃ったので、マディーンが
Okay, so that's
now
where the
canvas goes blank,
kitten
and then there were
effect came
symbols
from.
above
As
the
far as the
canvas,
fangs.
but we were able to fill the slots there. So we have yet another creature that was summoned, the Medine.
で具現化すると、
Holy crap, dude, that's insane.
So I'm sorry, I made a mistake when I was mentioning the Imagine Pom Pom move. It is not Living Muse, it was Palm Muse.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. That actually makes a lot more sense.
次、この武器の絵、
Okay,
Use
now
the
going on
hammer.
to the weapon motif.
ここですね。さっきピクトウェポンしましたんで、ハンマーが使えるようになってます。
So now we can use
Oh, okay. I get it now.
to render that as an attack.
で、これは具現化すると、こっちに3段コンボとして使えるように
So
なる
you
ので、
have literally 3
これ
executions
結構長い間
with
使え
pretty
るん
much
で
3 different categories.
インスタント
The animal, the weapon, and I guess the field
3連マップ
environment. Okay, I'm sold.
With the,
書いておいて、
That hammer spell got
そろ
me.
そろボスが激しい
I'm gonna be
攻撃してくる
frank,
ぞ
that
とな
hammer
ったら
spell got me.
具現化
I'm
して
sold. I'm sold on Pictomancer.
その
I get to bunk the ever living shit out of things.
so next is the landscape motif. This one has a longer casting time because it is also the depiction for your party buffs.
実行します。
Hold-
Executing-
こうやって。はい、まあ別にもっと広い範囲に効果ある。
Hey, yo!
攻撃に
Okay, this thing looks insane. Okay, this job
Of
looks
course,
insane.
Not only is it a buff, but you can also utilize it for attacks. The range is going to be wider because it's going to be a party buff.
This job looks crazy.
まあ無栄称で使えたり、5キャストまで
Okay.
無栄称で使えたりするので、ここと組み合わせ
They
て
changed
バ
my
ーストを
tune.
無栄称でする
Damn.
So with the landscape motif and the buff that you can apply to the party will allow for your ether hue, the magics that we explained earlier with the different colors in the palette, to be cast without the longer cast time. So if you want to say going into a battle,
Wow,
and
I was
starting
not
off
expecting
with, like a
to
damage burst
actually
in
like
the
this
beginning of the
job.
battle, that might be a way to place your buff
I was
there,
not
and
expecting to
start the
actually
battle
end up
with,
liking this job.
uh,
CS3, I swear.
so the Pictomancer's rather different from the other magic ranged DPR.
Oh, you don't say.
So, apologies, it's still getting used to how it moves around, but let me show you some examples of how a skill rotation might look like.
Oh, we're finally going to be seeing a rotation. What the fuck?
Oh, or you forgot.
You're gonna want to. You're definitely gonna want. You're definitely gonna want to shut off all effects in the party with this job. You're gonna want to shut off all the effects. Everyone's effects with this job. Yo.
そろそろ眠いぞっていうコメントも日本の方からは見えているので、まあそれはそうですよね。
I can't wait to see what they did with freaking Astrologian.
はい。すごい怒られてる。
Our Japanese audience have reached their bedtime. What time does Yoshida have to go to work tomorrow?
What?
Yoshida has to be at the office at 10. Our media tour is going on in Japan right now.
He has to go through an interview. Yoshi's struggling right now. The struggle is real.